All the Reggies to step. No, I said,
Get that fucking metronome off. What the fuck is this?
If we talk to a beat, maybe it will be a better show.
Welcome, listener, to Isn't It Obvious with Philip,
the one
Micah,
we have.
and Sarah.
Thank you.
I had this whole speech done in German during the car trip, and I'm like, Micah's gonna love my terrible German, and I was just like, I just spouted out terrible German to her, and she's like, Micah's not gonna like that. So the editor.
Nor will any of our German listeners.
Yeah.
They'll be like,
No.
that's
Our one
super
listener
cringe.
is not German.
That's true.
Hey, we had an extra subscriber. We have 3 subscribers now on our YouTube.
That's
So
probably.
which one of you guys did it?
Anyway.
Here's my Isn't It Obvious? Isn't it obvious that Tic Tac Toe should have a patch update? And I have exactly what it should be in mind. It needs more game theory. So here's the plan about how to make Tic Tac Toe great again.
Chess.
You're wrong.
Okay, well,
Chess is basically tic-tac-toe, but more complex. Anyway,
No,
go
it's
on.
not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
There's like you're on a board, it's a grid, there's a certain set of moves you can make.
Yes.
And it's just
all
infinite...
88 quadrillion moves you
yes,
can make.
it's infinitely more complex, but it's still basically tic-tac-toe.
No,
Yes.
it's not. There's no part of the stratagem that is tic-tac-toe.
Sure it is.
Tic-tac-toe
One
is a
opponent
game
moves.
that you only enjoy when you don't fucking play it.
so it's only enjoyable when you
And
don't
chess
know.
is
Well, actually, this is very similar to chess. Tic Tac Toe is a solved game, right?
Yep.
Whereas chess is not.
Yeah, that's why you always go to the corner.
It can
Yes.
be, though.
Chess has more moves than atoms in the universe.
Yeah.
So, like,
But
you wouldn't be able to store the ones
But
and
in
zeros.
theory, though, you could still solve chess.
No, you can't solve chess because
You fucking can. There's
no, there's optimal moves, but there isn't one. There's no one way to win every game of chess. There is one way to win every game of tic-tac-toe, or at least push a
Yeah,
tie.
that's what you call solved games, is where you know if you follow the script, you can win or push
Well,
tie.
we're just going to have to agree to disagree here because while it's infinitely more complex, it's still... are still...
Okay, what's the winning move in chess then? That wins every game.
You just flip the board and just throw like a pigeon shit everywhere and be like, I won. And
So
everyone's
no,
like,
you drop your pants and you just shit on that board.
first of all,
There's
no
your
one's gonna...
checkmate.
Seriously, I don't think anyone's gonna fight against somebody who's covered in poop. That's just something I don't think
Hold
is
on,
gonna
let's
happen.
let's talk to Reggie. Reggie,
God damn it!
Wait, Reggie's
Reggie's
making
back.
a return? No one knows about Reggie except for us, but it's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
listeners.
what's he talking about? He's married with 3 kids.
He's 16 and he's in the war and
In
he's
1917.
dying. He's thinking of committing suicide or...
I'm covered in shit. I can't go fight the Germans when I'm covered in shit.
in the blood of his enemies or his comrades.
I
Either
haven't
way.
fired a shot yet.
He's apparently married at 16, even though he's not actually married. But he says he
Elizabeth said
is.
she'd wait.
Yeah.
So he has 9 kids, married.
My pa had 9 kids when he was 16. I only have 3.
Tree
that he knows of.
kids.
That he knows. Okay,
Anyway,
moving on
Aspen
to.
screwed him.
so I feel like chess could absolutely, in the right, if it were,
It mathematically cannot be solved.
it can.
No, and mathematically it cannot be solved because you don't have enough data. Like you can't store all the ones and zeros somewhere. to
Humans
be able
can't
to
solve it. We do not have the processing powers. Like that's.
But Deep Blue didn't win every game he played. He just won a lot.
Alpha Zero can win every game now, which is neural network kind of crazy chess.
It's Alpha Zero, it's oxymoronic, I don't accept it.
Okay, well, still.
all I'm saying is it can be solved. It just we haven't solved it yet, but it can be.
There is an optimal move.
It is there. No, but I'm saying it is a board with boundaries. There's no.
Right, but from your first, like,
There's
there
no
is
outside-
there is no first move that guarantees victory, unlike tic-tac-toe, where first move guarantees victory.
or tie.
Yeah.
Or time.
Like, not loss. There isn't that in chess. If you move, queen's pawn up 2, that's not a guarantee that you're going to win. You don't have that set out from the beginning.
It can be though.
No, because you're still you can go and try and do the 4-move checkmate. That can be interrupted 13 different ways.
Yes, but
But you may still win. That doesn't mean your first move guaranteed your victory.
it could though if you had solved chess with
But you
a processing power that could do it. You're still in a bound game. There is still limitations on this game. Every piece has a limitation. It is comprehensible. We can't because we don't have the processing power to do it as people, as in our brains. We don't. But it's still a board game that is confined by its rules. So it could be solved. The only reason we don't solve it is because humans make fucking mistakes. That's why. We can't solve it.
But the first move in that is not guaranteeing your victory. Even though it can be theoretically solved, there is always a right move.
I'm just enjoying this conversation because you're both absolutely wrong.
Okay, Phil, what's your take?
So chess...
It's a solved game with zero outcome.
It hasn't been solved yet.
It cannot be... It's a solved... It's a game that, due to the amount of possibility of the moves, which is exponential, right? Like, there's more... Again, chess moves that are possible than there are atoms in this universe, just because of the way that the orders of magnitudes have moved more than tic-tac-toe. But in theory, if you had enough memory in this supercomputer, you could solve it. Yep. You could just crunch the numbers in some parallel universe that had more atoms and had more solid states that was ones and zeros. But in this universe, no, it cannot be solved that way. Because you don't have enough memory to be able to computate every single move possible.
Yet.
No, like ever. Like you couldn't be able to do it because it's like saying, I want to know what the last digit of pi is, right? Like you wouldn't be able to store enough of the value of pi to be able to get there.
I feel like
also because
Hitchhiker's-
it's a rational number.
No, it's 40. It's 42.
Anyway, you have a one in,
Hitchhiker's
The
guy.
last digit is 2.
You have a 1 in 10 chance of getting it right, but also it's wrong because there's no digit. So, like, the problem here is that, yes, it's similar to tic-tac-toe, that in theory that you could have a if-then flowchart that says if your player, like, you move E2 to E4, and then from there, if your opponent does this, you do that, you do this, you do that. And then you could win the game if you had enough solid states. Like, every move was understood. But again, you wouldn't be able to build a computer with all of the atoms in the universe to do that.
Yet.
Unless you were able to hook up parallel universes somehow using gravitational waves.
I feel like...
Give it a second. CERN's working on it.
The other way you could solve chess is using something called Alpha Zero used, which is basically pattern recognition, right? But again, even that is not really solving it. That's just being able to look at the memory of all the other known games and trying to figure out how you would win. But the nice part about tic-tac-toe is that when you're learning how to play it, there's still a game at chance, right? Like you may not win. But then eventually everyone knows how to beat this game or at least force a draw. And this is where I think the patch update is absolutely necessary. And here is where I'm going to introduce it to you guys at 8 minutes
later
into the podcast. So tic-tac-toe isn't really about winning or losing. The idea here is that you predict what your outcome is going to be. So you draw the grid of tic-tac-toe. Imagine, listener, the grid of tic-tac-toe. And then you write down either that you win, you lose, or you tie. And you cover that up with your hand. You don't let your opponent know. And now you play the game. And if your prediction is correct, you win based off a point scale. So if you predict that you won, you get 3 points. If you predict that you tied, you get 2 points. And if you predict that you lost, you get 1 point.
But with the ease of breaking it up, aren't you breaking the game and then everybody's just going for ties?
or losses.
Yeah, so if they're going,
but
for
a tie will
then-
still lead to more ties than anything else.
Yeah, true.
Not
Because imagine
quite.
if both of you pick loss, then you're going to end up with a tie.
Yeah,
Because even if you leave the other person alone and you each take a side, no one's going to go for the win because you
And then you'll
plan yourself
know.
to lose.
And
Then
you'll
you'll end
know.
up tying.
not necessarily. So the idea of tic-tac-toe with game theory
Or
is
then
that,
if you go first, you lose.
not quite, because I don't know what Sarah is going to choose in this case, because you're just across
But
from
you
me.
can guess after my second move or my first move, even.
No, because you can feint, right? You can be
Yes,
deceptive.
Tic Tac Toe, the game known for feints.
So,
That's
like,
true.
you go in
I mean,
the-
it's just the same as like chess in the sense that you want to draw them into a trap if they're not a very...
But you have the versatility to do that in chess.
Well-
You don't have the versatility in Tic Tac Toe to do that.
Game is solved, right, already, as it is. If you're playing with this new patch update, you can, based on how the person lays their first move, you would know what potentially they're going for. Because if they're not doing the first optimal move, you know they're either going for a tie or they're going for a loss.
Not really. I mean, like, you could pretend... It's just like kind of like StarCraft, where you can trick your opponent that you're going to go Zerg Rush.
But that, again, you have more versatility than you have with Tic Tac Toe.
We're going to play...
Sarah, you will be the judge.
Okay.
We will each have our left hand below the table, and
Okay.
a W, a loss, or fist is a tie.
All right.
And we can't change that.
All right.
I can't see Phil's, but... we're
Okay,
just gonna
Micah,
have to go
close
with
your
it.
eyes. Okay, I'm going to close my eyes.
Okay.
All right. So in this podcast of a very visual thing that we're doing in a very auditory
Micah and
medium.
Phil have just shown me their symbols, and they are going for their first move here on a little notebook.
X in the corner.
Yep. Phil has done the.
Phil
one
went
of the
top
corners.
left X, the power move.
I mean, it could be bottom right for you, but whatever. It's
No,
fine. I know.
Look at my
It's,
writing.
You know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Play by play. Play by play. Next move. Go ahead.
I have to put and color copy cheese.
Micah has chosen the opposing corner.
Suck it, Phil.
And
How dare you?
Phil has gone for the center box. Micah has gone for. I'm sorry. Phil has gone for the. I can't do this. I'm not good at this. Jesus.
What do we pay you for, Sarah?
Not announcing the sports commentary, whatever. Yep. See, this is a very easy. See how this has gone.
Ah, no! Dang it. All right.
So what
And
happened?
What did you pick, Phil?
Loss. Both of them have, and this is very, and it's very
you see
obvious.
how broken that is.
You see how well, and you also
You
see
can never lose
they both
if you go
picked-
first.
Yes.
If we both pick loss.
Yeah, that's right. That's the idea is that
you can't pick a loss then.
no, you can
If you
pick
go
a-
first.
You can pick a loss. It's just that like in this game, I didn't want to lose, right? And normally
You did though.
Yeah.
You wanted to lose,
Okay.
but you
Your
went
win
first.
condition was to lose,
My victory condition was to lose
but you couldn't because you went first.
because I couldn't because I went first.
So this
And then it's
patch update
manipulable.
isn't
So
going to
you
work.
already know there is 1/3 option your opponent cannot do if your opponent goes first.
But you didn't know I was gonna go for a loss, right?
I did after your first move, and I felt guaranteed in what I was going to do because your feint wouldn't have worked in that situation.
How did you know after my first move that I was
Because you
going
went
for
to
a
the
loss?
corner.
Center square. You always take the center square.
Yes, if you want to win, you take the center square as
What?
a
As
first
soon as you
move.
didn't take the center square, I knew you were going for the loss.
Loss
and
or
I had you
tie,
beat.
and you can't. Yeah,
I didn't even have to play the game, and I beat
in fact, if you wanted to feint as a tie, you could have gone for the center square.
That's why I went center square immediately after.
No, I feel terrible because
See?
I always go for the corners if I'm trying to win.
Well, you're
in-
wrong.
in
That's not,
tic-tac-toe.
that's not how you win.
But
I
see,
gamed the system you just made up.
yeah, and this makes me actually very happy because in this case, what would have happened in a real game of tic-tac-toe is that it would be very boring for me to play because you would just know that you're going to either force a draw.
All right,
But in
well,
this
good.
case, I actually lost, which is really fun for me because then it's not predictable.
But is it? So how about this? Let's play for the win.
No, you don't get to choose.
No,
That's
that's what I'm
the-
saying. Let's play for the win.
See, this is why this patch update, by the way, Micah, I'm going to talk about this, why I would like to lose in this. Because I didn't think I was going to lose my victory condition. And that's why it, to me, is a lot more amusing. See, if you do regular tic-tac-toe, the best you could probably do is, you're probably going to force a draw. And then it becomes very stale because no one either wins or loses.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, I didn't know what the victory was going to be. I wanted to get to my victory condition, which was, in this case, to lose. But then that would make me win. But I didn't get there. And that makes me happy because that means that there is play involved. It's like tic-tac-toe meets uncertainty. You don't know if I'm going to go for tie next time, or if I'm going to go for I want to win, or if I'm going to lose again. And so my strategy is always going to be
You're incorporating a rock, paper, scissors aspect into tic-tac-toe. You're just merging two different games.
Yes, but rock, paper, scissors isn't by
We'll just
itself.
play Connect 4 at this point.
Which is a far superior game.
It's also solved.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So you could do the same thing for Connect 4 as well. To be able to say, look, Connect 4 needs to have, any solved game needs to have game theory involved to make it interesting. So that you can say either you are going to feint or you're going to actually go for it. And the victory should be, winner should obviously try to get more points and loser should get less because it should be technically easier to lose. I think that this is the patch update that's needed for all those bored kids.
So what does this patch update do to make game theory better? What's
it
the
doesn't
goal of
make
this?
game theory better.
It makes the game itself better.
It makes the game
Well,
itself more exciting.
What's the point of making tic-tac-toe better when the point of it is the knowledge of utility of some actions?
The reason why is because tic-tac-toe can be played almost anywhere. Like, especially if you're on a school bus and
There are better games you can play.
No.
Okay.
I Spy, the license plate game.
No.
Because
The name game where you like pick a like famous people and you say their first and last name, and then the person who goes after has to take the first letter of the last name for the first name of the next famous person. Ever played that game?
These are not as good.
I played
games.
a lot of road trip games, is what I'm saying. Have you played the cow game? The cow game is great. I think you've played it, right? The cow game is great. You split the car
Micah
down.
is-
You split the car in half. One
This
side
is
gets one
terrible.
side of the
Because
road.
the
The
cow
other
game-
side of the car gets the other side of the road. And you
I
count
listened-
cows.
I listened to the cow game. It's not a good game.
Okay.
Cows are worth 1 point. White horses are worth 5 points. And if you hit a graveyard, you lose all your points. And once you reach your destination, you tally, and whoever has the most cow points wins.
As for
great
time
game.
wasters go, like just two kids just wasting time. Like everyone always typically has either a stick and sand to be able to tic-tac-toe.
Wait, no, that's what Marry, Fuck, Kill is for.
What? I thought it was MASH. It was mansion, apartment, something, and
Shack and
Shack and house, yeah. And like there was like a you pick a number or something or a name of it. I don't remember how it went, but we played this in preschool, I think. It was weird. I was a child.
I grew up in such a privileged home. When I was in preschool, I talked about whether I wanted to own a mansion, an apartment, a shack, or a house.
There was like a whole slew of things. Like you would choose like your favorite
All of us
boy
in a
band
private
singers
kindergarten.
and like what your kids' names would be and like all these other weird factors, and you would go through. I don't remember. But
Sure. All right, we've tallied up your points, and Justin Timberlake, good choice for your spouse, and a mansion, really high, but
we always wanted the mansion. Everyone wanted the mansion, but a lot of times we just got.
We're gonna have to knock you down for your kids' names. I'm sorry, Apple will never fly as an actual name.
Miss
XAE.
No, Zasha's fine.
A B
Okay.
D A B C D E whatever.
Absida?
Absidy. Yeah.
I just like Dumas.
I think
Anyway.
other than waiting for the horses to stable to get the rest before going on for the next ride, aside from those type of games that you're just waiting in your super nice amazing K through 5 education at that time, for the rest of us kids that had to go to public schools,
Preschool wasn't public school. It was a daycare. Like it wasn't a school. It was. I called it preschool. It was daycare. Sorry.
You went to
Daycare.
daycare?
Daycare.
You went to preschool?
I had latchkey where I was watched over by 14-year-olds that should not have had the responsibility of watching over 6-year-olds.
Daycare is fucking expensive. So yes, you should absolutely be looking at me like this.
You
But
son of a bitch. Okay, for people who didn't have
who can't fucking afford daycare these days?
When I grow up, I just don't want to be in latchkey anymore.
I mean, to be fair, my parents did leave me pretty late. They worked like 10-hour days. 5 days a week. It was.
I had to watch shitty Cartoon Network in the basement of the restaurant my mom managed.
I had to watch. I think it was
Cartoon
like.
Network. It was
I think it was like
ABC.
Oh, damn.
5
That's
a.m.
terrible.
5 a.m. Looney
Gargoyles.
Tunes. It was always freaking Roadrunner and Coyote on it.
Gargoyles.
It was like 5:30, and I'd be sitting waiting for my parents to get ready to take me to daycare or school or whatever it was. No, it wasn't school. They never took me to school. It was daycare. And like
Never took her to school.
they didn't. They threw me on a bus.
Oh,
The bus was-
trials and tribulations. I had to sit outside walking uphill both ways to get to my bus stop in 5 feet of snow.
You had a bus stop?
Yeah.
I actually had to walk to school. I'm not kidding.
I had a bus stop.
I was like 4 miles out of town. I couldn't walk to school.
My
They had
my
built a
neighbor,
bridge
on the
in.
other hand, was way more spoiled than me, and she would like purposely like waste her time like slowly eating breakfast so her mother would drive her up to the bus stop. And I'm like, this is the laziest piece of shit I've ever seen. So I stopped going over in the morning, and I'm like, I'm not waiting for you anymore. I'm just gonna go to the bus stop. I don't want to sit here and waste your mom's time. Like,
Yeah.
you can do that on your own time. I'm not gonna be. part of
Anyway, when I
this.
was 6 years old, I'm the laziest piece of shit I ever met in my life.
She was a lazy piece of shit.
At 6 years old, if you're a lazy piece of shit, I think you're just gaming. Like, you have enough cognitive ability to game the system.
No, she wasn't. She was just a manipulative bitch, and everyone but her parents
Saw
knew
that.
that. And I can tell you right now, she's not doing as successful. Okay, they're playing Tic Tac Toe again.
Continue.
Are we timing out here?
No. What was the...
Just continue. Just pick one.
What?
I have to actually...
Just pick one. I went first.
But I have to have my victory condition.
Yeah, I know. Pick one.
Just look over here.
Okay, but what was the sign for tie again?
Close
it was
fist.
close fist.
Win.
Loser.
Loss.
Win. Oh boy, these guys! I swear to God.
Sorry. Continue with your story about sociopathic behavior.
See, this is so broken. Sociopathic behavior. I can't. These guys are just too. This Tic Tac Toe game is just too exciting. I can't. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
You can go.
But you lost.
Did I? You get to go. This is your turn.
Yeah, but you lost because you went for a tie.
No, he went for a loss. So
That's why going first is broken. Going for the loss always wins.
No, it's not.
We already broke the system.
going for a loss only wins if you go second.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is why you should always go for the loss when you go second, because you can
Yes.
manipulate the first person. So this is
And
clearly
if you
broken.
go-
Phil. Your update is broken.
Your sample size is of just 1.
2.
one game. But okay.
Mm.
But like if you were to say, Micah, you chose tie and you chose loss, but you went first, how would that end?
A more manipulated tie. I would have to cut him off from getting any 2 series in a row. That's my only move. As opposed to me. So I went middle last game, and then I went above middle. I should have gone. Can't go in the middle if you're going for not win.
Yeah. So
So
Back
you're
to
going
reminiscing about
for
your childhood.
you're going to loss.
Push.
let's not talk about my childhood anymore. I'm already upset about it. I was so mad at my neighbor.
That's understandable.
She definitely did not turn out
And
probably the way she anticipated.
do you know
she
how?
turned out the way I
You did.
anticipated.
Do you know how?
Is your life how you anticipated it?
It's
Phil, is your life how you anticipated it?
Oh, absolutely not.
I didn't really have big grand designs as a child.
Well, I was just born in the wrong generation.
Like,
I figured
my-
70s, go
my
to college,
goal-
and then just life.
My goal
Yeah,
was
that's
to
how I
be
figured.
self-sufficient. That was pretty much it. So yes, I guess I did turn out mostly that way. I didn't have expectations of being like some great doctor or lawyer or anything. My parents did for me, but I'm like, no, that sounds like work. I'm too lazy for that. So no, I just wanted to do enough work and have enough to live on
The
comfortably.
name Wiki will be revered in the medical annals of all history because of our... Oh, you're doing what now? We're proud of you.
I would say for me, I really wanted to go to academics as a kid. Like I thought that would be like the super fun nerdy thing to do. So I wanted to go into like as a child growing up, I was like, man, if it could be like just teaching at a university level, that would be great. Just
Those who cannot do teach.
right.
Those who can do, those who can't teach, those who can't teach, do labor.
Yeah, that too.
Well, Sue. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to do in life, but it didn't really end up working out at all. And I have a good friend that ended up being like a postdoc in the field of chemistry and works in Dallas right now. And he just kind of tells me a lot of this, like, I had a very romantic notion of what academics was like. And now it's just paper mills and just getting grants just to publish work that you don't ever publish bad data because that's just bad marking. So like, not bad data, but like, let's say you had a theory and it just fizzled out. Well, you're not going to even publish it.
Yeah.
So other departments would run into the same trap and then they find out that it was a dead end and then they wouldn't publish it. And not enough people actually do repetitive work to make sure that someone publishes groundbreaking thing. Not a lot of incentives to even replicate it.
Because
So
we haven't put a nice capitalist system around. Or maybe we put too good
we
of a
put
capitalist
we put too good of a capitalist system in academics.
Except for tenure.
And it's all just about getting grants. That's all it is. That's all it's about. And it's all about pushing as many academic papers as much as you can, whether or not they're useful.
I
And I'm
remember-
like, wow, that sucks.
I remember going to one of the advisors, and I had an idea that I wanted to do for research. And the person I went to for just my thought, right? She's like, yeah, we're not even gonna entertain this idea because it's not gonna get us any money to do it. Like, and I'm just like, well, fuck this then. I'm just gonna graduate and get the hell out of here. I'm not even gonna bother. It's a waste of my time, and it's clearly a waste of yours. So
Yeah.
But you didn't go to a state university
I did not.
where you just see the paper mill in action.
Yeah,
Because I
different.
would have received a failing grade if it was based on like attendance for my senior thesis paper. Because halfway through my last semester, I'm like, mental breakdown and just. But I got an A on my paper.
My senior
Prize.
thesis, like in your, I think everyone has it for their major, was for us, you have to pair with an industry. It's just so blatantly a jobs program. It's not really about anything about like, oh, we want you to be a critical thinker even at a college level. It's just
No.
we want you to be employed so you can give us money as an alumni.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Yeah,
they can keep asking, but it's
Yeah.
never
We need
gonna
you
happen.
to be the best product so we can still have these business partnerships of which we give them cheap labor
Yeah.
for them to exploit, for them to give us grant money so we can keep our doors open.
Yeah,
pretty
and
much.
I'm like, oh, that's just sad. So like, I always wanted to be in this kind of like 1970s romantic idea of what I thought academics was like, and obviously it kind of washed out. So it didn't really wasn't
You know
in my
why?
cards
Because
anyway.
too many academic stars in the 70s really acted like rock stars, and it kind of just spoiled the whole industry.
You kid, but I was completely nerdy, and I thought that would be like such a fun thing to be like.
Like swinger parties, yeah, with the alumni.
No, just I'm such an asshole. But like I thought growing up as a kid to be like, oh, I'm a
A professor.
A
of
professor
sexual
would be
design.
like,
fun.
Yeah, the
Like,
whole
just be
idealized
cool.
of being a teacher, of like, what I think about this topic can shape generations.
Yeah.
It seems so very intoxicating.
I thought so as a kid. Now
But then
as
you
an adult,
go through that system, you're like, oh, your soul is crushed.
yeah, and it's like, oh, no one's really teaching me other than the TAs, which are grad students.
Yeah, fuck TAs.
You know, it's like this is very So what I thought as a kid of where I would be is not where I am today, and now I'm just like a mercenary for hire.
And
that's
because of that, we certainly need an update to the age-old game of Tic Tac Toe to make it more representative of current game theory.
I think so, because Tic Tac Toe is played at an age where you're probably 5 to 10, right?
5 to 5, like maybe 3 to 5. I don't know. This is a pretty
As
simple
we
game.
just showed, it can still be at 35.
Yes, it's
Were
also
you really playing like?
Am I really giving my opinions in this podcast? Come on, Sarah.
But really, I thought it would be a good idea to just spice up the game, so you don't. They have to think more about what their opponent is really doing, and that's kind of like,
trick people into thinking?
No,
it's
that's why you
not
play
been
Go.
yeah. But the thing is, like when I play
Also
Tic Tac Toe,
a
it's just
potentially
with
solved game, but anyway.
What, better?
it's
Still
way
better than Tic Tac Toe.
Yeah. Go is way better than Tic Tac Toe.
Yeah, the problem is that you don't have a Go board with you at all times, right?
You can. What do you need? Like a 36 by 36?
I forget.
For
what
me,
they-
playing Tic Tac Toe was usually at school, and you have random scratch paper
You
and
just-
pen,
1, 2,
pencil.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
you need.
Oh my
you
God.
guys are still limited by your pen and papers, though. You guys need better games that don't require.
This could
Yes,
be
that's why everyone needs to play Mental Magic.
No, get out of here with your
Mental-
No.
Mental Magic, yeah.
No.
So you just go back and forth. You have all of Magic cards that you can remember, and you have to just, turn 1, I play City of Bastard.
I play a forest mana card. Your
Okay.
turn.
Okay. Back to my turn. I'm going to play a Polluted Delta.
I'm gonna play the Diamante Dragon. thing
I am
that
going
you
to
can get
light the
7
table on
dragon
fire.
Cards,
Yeah,
you just
but
have to be
that
different.
costs more than 1 mana, doesn't it? You only have 1 mana
Lighting
available.
the.
I play
lighting
another
the-
mana.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm out.
What are you gonna cast there, Phil?
What is the dragon one you get? By the way, Sarah has literally left the podcast booth. So
All right, and Phil,
Studio,
whatever that
she's
cast
gone.
is, I tap my 2 mana for 2 blue mana and I counterspell.
fucking blue shit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we all agree that maybe we should just play Mental Magic.
No, dear God. Play Magic. Magic is a great game, but don't do that. Just don't.
Don't do Magic though, seriously, because
No, do Magic. It's a very fun game.
no, the problem with Magic is that it's really expensive.
It is for cards you don't actually need. If you're optimizing, yes. If you're just playing the game, play the game, absolutely not. I can give you a commander deck that's worth less than $20, including the commander. It'll be very fun to play.
This is also true, but
It is.
$20 is $20, man. I mean, like,
$20 is going to the theater for a single person. To a movie. Not even live acting. That's your ticket, popcorn, and soda. You're not even getting the fancy stuff. No Sour Patch Kids. Just popcorn and soda. That's $20.
I still think that's kind of expensive.
I had a $15 sandwich yesterday.
Food is different because food is the only thing that makes me feel like, yes, I am alive and living is worth it. But like entertainment, I feel like the movie of 10, like let's say it's $20 for a good movie experience, and that's what you peg inflationary, not inflation. That's how you anchor dollar to hour of entertainment. So we mentioned this before that movies are dollar to hour entertainment, and that's the baseline. So like going to a theater, getting a Not the Sour Patch, but like the popcorn and
Yeah,
drink. Let's say that's 20.
everything around going to watch a movie, not sitting down watching something on HBO.
Right. So you're going to a theater. Let's say it's $20 in 2021 in Biden dollars, and that's how you peg how much something should cost compared to other values of entertainment. And I think that's
just wrong.
I think that's wrong.
A video game gives you way more entertainment for your buck.
Right. And going to a live sports event is way too fucking expensive.
I disagree.
What?
Depending on the situation in which you're going to that live sporting event, if it's on a whim, a Thursday night against another garbage team within your division, then that cost has to be real low. Because I'm not going to pay top dollar to go see the fabulous Minnesota Twins take on the fabulous Detroit Tigers with a combined wins less than half of what expected wins a team should have.
White Sox. White Sox.
Yeah, White Sox are doing great this year.
I know.
I'll go for free.
Yeah.
Right. Or at like a reduced price, because there is the whole going to the stadium is entertainment.
Welcome back,
in itself. Like going to a theater, I won't go to an AMC to not watch a movie. I could go to Target Field and not watch the game and still be entertained.
Yeah, you could, but not like easily. Like there's stuff you can do, but like what else are you gonna do but watch the game? I mean, besides the other people who are there.
That's why. What
But
was
would you
what was
pay
drunk
to do
lady like shaking her ass trying
By
to
the
get on
way,
the Jumbotron?
we went to a Twins game last night.
It's not relevant. They don't need to know that.
In 2021, in the summer, you guys broke quarantine and decided to go into a place.
You see
We didn't-
you see what you gave away.
We didn't break quarantine at all. There's no fucking mask mandate and there's no quarantine. So we're all vaccinated, so it's fine. Anyway.
But Trump was just reinaugurated as our 46th president.
Yeah, and Ivanka, the vice president.
Cries. Anyway, that's a terrible reality.
It's vice chair deputy, actually.
That's Jared.
But, okay, other than people watching, what are you going to do? What are you going to do at Target Field?
Well, there's walking around. It is a nice complex of which to walk around.
You can literally walk around anywhere in the city.
For less than $20.
For less.
Potentially,
for
but
free.
that's not
Well,
whilst a
free-ish.
major league sports game is happening. I don't know if you can do that going to a Vikings game. Can
That's
you just
true.
walk around
Yes.
US Bank Stadium?
Yes, you can.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's not as nice of a stadium as Target Field
Disagrees?
is to walk around in.
Disagrees?
What do you see?
There's lots of have you been inside?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's stuff.
Uh-huh.
About the same amount of stuff, maybe more, because it's
Yeah,
a bigger
except for
building.
most of it is behind concrete walls, and you aren't part of the game like you are at Target Field. The ambience of sports is still there.
I've only been there once, and it was for not a Vikings game. It was for Tottenham Hotspurs.
I agree that Target Field is really nice just to walk around. I think XL is just the shittiest place to walk around.
that I would.
I think XL is better than US Bank Stadium.
Probably, yeah.
Because you have moments where you can stop, sit, and look at the game if you want to, but you still have the other options of people watching or getting your hot dogs or getting your nachos in a plastic bag that you have to open yourself.
I would
with
rather
the
just
dip that's
walk
also in a
around
plastic container.
downtown Minneapolis. I would just rather walk around.
Downtown Minneapolis isn't that pretty.
That's true.
Like if you're down by like the river,
That's decent.
like if you're like down by the Guthrie, like that's a lovely
That's
place.
actually
If
pretty
you're, if you're
decent,
walking
yeah.
around by the just go across the cool Stone Arch Bridge.
Yeah.
It's not that cool.
It's lovely though. There's
It's
like,
lukewarm.
it's lovely, and you just walk.
Not really that lovely.
It is.
It's no accoutrement. It's just a fucking bridge.
And a river.
Okay.
There's a whole fucking river.
Uh-huh.
And
I've
like
lived by
all
rivers
of
my
these.
entire life.
and
They
they're
are
like
Look at this
cool
fancy
old
pants with
building.
rivers and bridges. In my village, we have
cool
one
Yeah,
old
only
town.
counted without a lake, but we got
There's
fucking
like-
rivers.
There's the old
Rivers
mill.
are better.
There's
lake's
like
better.
this cute little cafe on the other side. There's a little park. There's like the dam that you can go
Some
look
dog
at.
shit. Some
Homeless
human
people.
shit.
You know, people are generally picking up their shit in the middle of the night. Anyway,
You
I
have
like-
clearly met nicer people than I have.
I really like going down the walk. I do. It's nice. And play Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's actually pretty
It's like
nice.
good
Oh,
spot.
so there's some other reasons of capitalistic nature of which you have interest in.
I
walking around that
literally
area.
pay nothing for that except the data on my phone.
But you pay for
Which
But you are using for other purposes.
Yeah, I
this
mean,
is
it's
kind
not
of like picking. This is
specifically
not
for
your
that.
primary. Okay, I think that in a completely unrelated podcast of Tic Tac Toe, which I think is a brilliant idea. Screw you, Micah. Is that
We just proved that it fails.
no? It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, because
it then removes that anonymity.
It makes it fun for Phil. Anyway.
it makes it fun for me, and I think that means it makes it
And
fun
that's
for
what
people
house-
who don't think
That's
like you,
what house
Micah,
rules
which
are
is.
for, Phil.
And what I mean by think like you, Micah, I'm like thinking of someone who actually has strategy and tactics and able to actually break the
Well,
game.
then,
Wait,
but
no,
then
you-
there's just fucking tic-tac-toe. You just
You've
play
seen me
tic-tac-toe.
play
Tic-tac-toe.
Seven Wonders, though, right?
You play Seven Wonders for maximum let's annoy Sarah, which is the way you're supposed to play games. And
Sure,
I,
but then Sarah and editor are like, Micah's gonna lose. I'm like, that's not part of my win condition.
yeah, the victory condition of certain games are just way different than what the rulebook says. Tic-tac-toe with this patch update makes me very happy, and I feel like it makes many other people much happier than the base level of the game. But that being said, I feel like as far as entertainment to dollar ratio goes, the reason why Tic-tac-toe is played usually now is because there's nothing better to do. You're trying to waste time and you happen to have the scratch paper and
But
it's
then
There are
quiet.
you're
so
either-
many better games.
No, but if you're playing Tic-Tac-Toe, you either think you can exploit someone else to get cheap victories, or you are looking to get frustrated.
Yeah, but with this game theory idea of it, it makes it more entertaining, which is what it desperately needs to begin with. Because right now it's already
We have
solved.
other games than Tic-Tac-Toe of which to play.
And the
Cribbage is an amazing
No, no, no.
game.
You can't take cribbage with you now.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You're not always gonna have the cribbage board with the little.
You don't
Right.
need a cribbage. You need a sheet of paper and a pen.
No,
You're
like
counting to 182.
when I was a kid and we go on a
181?
like you
181.
You can play tic-tac-toe on a window, right? Like it's
Yeah.
very
You
primitive
can play
stuff.
cribbage on the
Yes.
window.
Yeah.
Okay, screw you, Micah. You cannot play cribbage on the window comfortably. Okay, and I need to
That's
play
true.
cribbage comfortably.
No, you see, I have the
Dot,
4,
dot, dot,
4,
But you could,
5,
you,
6,
you
6,
could,
6.
you could make puzzles of cribbage. That is true. But anyway, the primitive nature of tic-tac-toe, you could literally play it anywhere that you can actually make a mark, and that's why it's played. But then it gets too
What
solid
if you
too
can't?
easily.
What if you can't make a mark? What are you gonna do then?
Well, then if you can't play the base level of tic-tac-toe, then certainly you can't play the expansion pack of which I am trying to
Connect
recommend.
Four.
But if you were to not have the ability to make a mark, my recommendation is trivia.
Mental tic-tac-toe?
Mental magic. See,
No,
Sarah
not-
said it.
I said tic-tac-toe, you fool. Never.
No, I heard magic. I heard mental magic.
No.
So what I did
No, you're
for
just gonna play better games. Just better games. than
Like
tic-tac-toe.
like, if you can't leave a mark, then the idea would be
The name game.
you would have to do
Or the
something.
topic game. Have you ever played the topic game? Sorry, go on, Phil.
You'd have to do something that's verbal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then what I did for my road trips was like the Ghost Rider game, where you would have like the first word, like let's say chair, and then you have to have the next word come like that as the end of the last.
So R would
Yeah,
be your
then you
next.
say record and you say desk.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the name game. Only I played with famous people, and you had to they had to be a famous person or character. You can't just name random objects. And if you are gonna do the random object name game, it has to be like you pick a category,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
and like then you just name like fruits as the category, and you would just go back and forth until the person who can't think of another fruit that hasn't already been said is, and then they lose if they can't think of it. So like banana, and then
Aardvark.
that's not a fruit.
It's fruit to me.
Apple, and then
Kangaroo.
orange, and you would just go around and name fruits until
And
you can't think of
Orange.
one.
Sarah
This
just
is how I
defined...
took a lot of road trips. as
Right,
well,
and
right?
Sarah just defined the issue. If you have an uncooperative partner, the game is not very fun.
This is true. This is why you need siblings who are willing to do whatever you tell them.
What?
Yes, nothing of being an authoritative older sibling that everyone is there only for their entertainment.
I mean, my brother was entertained, so we did keep each other entertained. It was fine.
And I'm sure there are no threats of violence from the older sister.
No, there wasn't.
We
It
have
was
proof
perfectly-
that-
we have proof.
That was
have-
way too quick of a denial.
We have proof.
I know, wasn't it? Like we have proof, but it was
Me?
seemed really
no, There
quick.
wasn't even. It was like, "Pfft, no, that never happened.
It
Not
seemed-
that Sam will acknowledge.
It seemed really rehearsed. Like we got a screenshot.
It was, it was a real quick response.
It was
Yeah.
because
Yeah. And let me tell you, my inner detective is like, she's hiding
no,
something.
he just has nothing to hide. He's like, yeah, of course you're the best older sister. Of course.
There's a millisecond in, just saying Russian brainwashing. Just-
No younger
you say apple,
brother.
you say banana. You say I'm the best sister. You say yes, of course.
No
Nothing
younger
to hide.
brother
Just-
ever says that their older sister is the best sibling ever.
That's true.
Well, technically I'm his only sibling ever, so there is that, but
That's irrelevant. Best
Also
is
best.
not guaranteed because there's
I am
only
a
one
great
option.
older sibling, and he would agree.
He did agree.
Yeah,
He did
because
agree.
of a lot of youthful trauma. Of clearly your physically abusive nature, Sarah.
I think that speaks more about your experience as a child, as a younger sibling, with your terrible older siblings. I was a great older sibling. Can't argue with that, can you?
Yeah. Great and older sibling is oxymoronic.
Yeah, I agree with Micah on this 100%.
Well, you're wrong. You just had
You
terrible.
can have a
older
great
sibling.
sibling. If you only have one sibling, great is no longer an option because you only have one option. You cannot attribute the best to that because there isn't enough comparison.
We have a great relationship. We just
Because you've dictated everything. That's all we need to know, Sarah.
no.
And speaking of siblings,
But we play a
thanks,
lot of
Mom,
games.
for raising us both fantastically great. Bye.
Speaking of siblings, I'm glad I don't have any. Bye!
I'm glad I have a good one. Bye, Mom.